Hey students, so let's talk about our Chimera project here. So this one is really all about process. How can you come up with three different features from three different creatures, whether they're animals, already made up in mythical creatures like dragons? How am I going to take three of those things and combine them together to make one creature, one drawing? So I'm just going to give you some tips about how I went about doing this, and hopefully you can either follow directly the process that I chose or uh, come up with your own process that's going to work for you to create your crazy mythical creature. So, as you can see before you, I have a drawing finished. And for this project, it just has to be a drawing. It's not, you don't have to color everything in. You obviously can if you want to, but one pencil drawing completed is perfectly fine. So let's talk about what I did and how I came to make the decisions that I made. Okay, so as you can see, my creature here, you have the face of a cat. We've got horns like a bovine creature, like an antelope. In this case, this type of creature is called an ibex. And then the back of my creature and its tail are scaled. And this is like the scales of a pangolin. So these pangolins are kind of almost like a scaled armadillo. They're native to Asia. Um, so I took all three of those creatures and I was like, okay, I'm gonna use these three, and I'm gonna pick some features from each one, and I'm gonna add them together. And so for the cat, I knew immediately, okay, I want the cat's face, for sure, the cat's face. And so I beginning of my drawing, and I looked up a whole bunch of different wild cats, and this is a wild cat, the caracal. And what I really liked about it, it had kind of these very pointy and fluffy ears at the end. And I thought that was pretty interesting. So that's why chose that one. Now, the ibex is, I believe it's a type of antelope, but I'm not entirely sure on that. It had these really cool ridged horns, and it had something else that also was extremely distinctive, a beard. See that right here? And so I kept those two features and only those two features from the ibex. The rest of it is cat. So the upper torso is cat. And then the lower torso is even the shape of a cat. But the bottom, lower torso, that's where I added the scales from the pangolin. So pangolin, like, it almost looks like it's armor on these things. And so I just said, okay, after the midsection of the cat's legs, I'm gonna have the rest of it be scaled all the way back into his tail. And that's how I made that decision and just started working on it and drawing it. And finally, the last thing is this claw. This is not a normal cat claw, right? So that's also from the pangolin. They have these really big front claws for digging in the dirt. Okay? And so that was my process. I just picked three animals I thought were really cool, really interesting. And then I picked what features I was going to keep and the rest of the features that I was going to get rid of. I really do suggest that if you pick an animal, make the shape of the animal look like perhaps one animal to keep it simple. For example, the cat, for the most part, the body looks like a cat body. That'll help keep it a little more simple when you're trying to draw the rest of it. So you could maybe find, for example, if you find a bear and you want the bear to be your basic largest part of the drawing, then you draw the body of a bear. Afterwards, you come in and you add the weird details. So your bear has a Snake tail. Well, give him a snake tail, but make sure you keep the body of the bear looking like that. So yet again, this is just a fun project, mashing some stuff together, creating some cool creatures. So I'm really looking forward to see what all of you come up with. Like always, if you have any questions, go ahead and send me a message. And yeah, let me know if you need any help. All right, we'll see you next time.